No matter how crazy you think your country's current leader is, it could always be worse. I mean, you can just look in video games and comic books and movies and see how crazy things could be. But thankfully, in fiction, insane's not always a bad thing. For this list, all we care about is if they were elected into office and how bonkers a world under their rule would be. So hey, I'm Nervous Nick for Screw Attack's Top 10 Craziest Fictional Presidents.
Number 10.
The real law and order president. He governs with swift, unadulterated power. He's tough on those who are tough on crime. Vote for President Slade Wilson, baby. Yeah, that's right, in Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, Deathstroke was the president. And yes, this is the good version of Slade who tries his best to lead the country with wisdom and integrity, but at the end of the day, it's still Deathstroke. This guy has drugged his own daughter and killed the Atom. Even the good version of him would not be my first pick for president. Like, he's still capable of all that bad stuff, right?
Number 9.
So this is gonna sound really random, but in the Disney movie My Date with the President's Daughter, President George Richmond allows his daughter to go on a date with a random dude she met at the mall. Yeah, George gets a background check on Duncan, but dude, you are the president! Who knows who's out to hurt you or your family? At least have him come over for dinner first or something, but nope. Go ahead, take her out on a date where they ditch the Secret Service, swipe Duncan's father's company car, and get the president and Duncan's father arrested. Yeah, the president gets arrested because the police officer doesn't recognize him. How generic is your face if the president of the free world doesn't get recognized?
Number 8.
In the heart of Liberty Square in Disney World lies a classic patriotic attraction, the Hall of Presidents. It's a room filled with fake animatronic presidents, and there's one new addition we'd like to bring up here. Okay, now hear me out. Now I'm only guessing at a story here without any actual proof, but I can't help but imagine Robot Trump's story going something a little like this. It's the fall of 2016. You're Disney, and you're thinking what a lot of Americans are thinking. Hillary Clinton's got this in the bag. So you get to Imagineering and create the Hillary animatronic because you're always planning ahead, right? But then bam! Trump's president. So you repurpose the Hillary robot, and what you get looks like if Trump and Clinton did a Dragon Ball Z fusion type thing. And that is who would be an insane president. Dollary Clump, internally fighting for control over this robotic monstrosity, forced to inhabit the same space. It nods its head, it gives moving speeches, and it tears the very fabric of space-time apart. You know, probably.
Number 7.
Heroes are only as good as their villains, blah blah blah, yes we all know that, but it's so true. That's what's always made Lex Luthor such a great foe for Superman. He uses his wealth, intellect, and status to be a thorn in Superman's side. So when Lex actually became president of the United States, he used his position as a shield, knowing that Superman wouldn't remove him by force. This allowed Lex to gain control over armies and other superheroes, frame Superman for murder, and start a world war. Lex is not the kind of guy who'd look at the presidency as a chance to do some good for the country, but instead he would see it as near limitless power to serve himself. So maybe it serves Lex right that his kryptonite ring gave him hand cancer.
Number 6.
While the presidency does come with several responsibilities and governing power, it's largely a symbolic position. The president is elected by the people, they stand up in front of the country and lead us in times of prosperity, times of doubt, and when the Earth is invaded by aliens that want to eradicate mankind and harvest our natural resources. Thomas J. Whitmore from Independence Day would be an insane president. Insanely awesome! He unites the country and the planet to rise up and fight a massive alien army and has people cheering while they do it. Imagine what he could do with that kind of motivational power. Voter turnout skyrockets, we all actually start paying taxes, and we do so with a smile on our face and a patriotic song in our hearts. God bless America indeed.
Number 5.
Andrew Jackson, the lucky number 7th president of the United States of America. He helped to found the modern Democratic Party, he landed his face on the money, and he also replaced Ben Grimm to become a member of the Fantastic Four. And then he went up against the freaking Submariner. Like, where was this chapter in history class? I would have definitely remembered that and probably wouldn't have had to Google Andrew Jackson accomplishments to write out this entry.
Number 4.
Palpatine, Darth Sidious, the Emperor, Sheev. Did you know his name is Sheev, by the way? It's kind of a fun fact. Anyway, this guy would be a scary president. Throughout Palpy's political career, he exploited loopholes, stayed in power way after his term was over, and used war to turn the Republic into the Galactic Empire. And he was also technically elected, so you can all go ahead and put those comments away. Put them away, delete them. And really, who knows what crazy stuff Palpatine would get us into if he were president? Although, even as the Emperor, all he ever did was keep building more Death Stars. I mean, this guy's like a dog chasing after cars. He spent decades trying to rule the galaxy, and when he finally got it, he got beat by a farm kid and his smuggler buddies. The hardest part of a Palpatine administration would be having to look at that hideous Sidious face every single day.
Number 3.
Okay, let me explain this as quickly and painlessly as possible. It's the first episode of Black Mirror, and there's a hostage situation. The only way Prime Minister Michael Callow can ensure the safe return of Princess Susanna is to have sex with a pig on live TV.
This is a joke, right?
It's real.
Yep, that's episode 1.
She's a pig.
Honestly, one of the big reasons Michael Callow is on this list is because we feel sorry for him. Like, really, really sorry. Plus, can you imagine the rest of his time in office? You know they're gonna be copycats. His term, and let's get real, he would only get one term, would be week after week of having to have sex with increasingly disgusting animals. We would quit our jobs, we would watch this freak show, and the whole country would fall into disarray. Oh, that poor man.
Number 2.
Okay, so, back when developers were still trying to make hardcore games for the Wii, High Voltage Software graced humanity with the most insane cliffhanger for a game ever. Check this out. It's the end of Conduit 2. Michael Ford looks up to discover several men in destroyer armor exiting a portal so they can help with the next big alien war. And who do you think it's gonna be? Go ahead, take a second and guess. It's freaking Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. Not just them, it seems like every single former president ever comes through that portal. It would be utter chaos if a formerly dead president came back in destroyer armor and led our nation again. And I want to see it.
It's number 1.
What if presidents were also ninjas? I lose a lot of sleep because of this question, but if they'd be anything like Naruto Uzumaki, at least he would be the good kind of crazy. After years and years, Naruto finally fulfilled his lifelong dream of becoming his village's leader, called the Hokage. The thing is, villages in Naruto's world basically are like their own independent countries. Even if Naruto were running a proper country, he'd probably be pretty fantastic at it. He's a one-man army who could protect us against evil gods who live on the moon. Oh, and I do emphasize army. Not because Naruto is all like militaristic or whatever, but because he can duplicate himself hundreds, if not thousands of times over. I'm just saying, if you want somebody who can get stuff done, you want the ninja who could be everywhere at once. For our secret number 11, we're going with the battle cry of a generation.
Vote for Pedro.
Vote for Pedro.
Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite didn't run the strongest campaign, but he put the right people in his corner and encouraged high school kids everywhere to give a crap about high school democracy. Good for you, Pedro.